How's it going, everyone? It's time to kickstart another little spin-off series for Battlefield 3. I've been doing my Battlefield 3 loadouts for a fair while now and they seem to be dropping in popularity, and I've always wanted to do some kind of vehicle loadouts, especially for the jets in Battlefield 3. The only problem was that in the past it was really hard to actually get in the jet. You'd often have to wait in the lobby and try and be the first to spawn into it. Then it's 50-50 whether you get blown up on the runway. But as we all know, as part of this endgame DLC, we've got this new air superiority mode, which those lucky PS3 guys have already got and can play around with now. But for us unfortunate Xbox and PC guys, we've got to wait till next week. But I thought I'd kickstart this new little jet loadout series a little bit early, just to play around with the loadout that you can use in Conquest mode, just before we get started with those more dogfight orientated loadouts. So the very first setup for this new jet loadout series is named Strike Fighter. Based on real life strike fighters like the F-18 and the F-15, this is all about supporting your team's infantry by eliminating ground targets. Throughout this series I'm going to give each loadout its own little rating, and the difficulty for this one I've listed as Ace. In the future I'll be doing various loadouts for rookies and veterans, but for this Ace loadout you do have to be able to control the jet and have it ranked up to a decent level, but it's not one of the most difficult loadouts I've got planned. So this Strike Fighter loadout is one you'll definitely want to use in those Conquest game modes. It's an air-to-ground jet loadout to eliminate those enemy vehicles, so we're going to be performing multiple strafing runs. And usually with jets in Battlefield 3 they don't usually help your team win the game. Those jet pilots are often just having their own little dogfight in the sky while the rest of your team are busy playing the objective. So the primary role for a strike fighter is to maintain focus on the objective and help your team win those games by destroying those ground vehicles and supporting your infantrymen. Obviously we are going to have to defend ourselves against enemy jets, which is where the strike fighter term comes in. Obviously strike relates to the air-to-ground nature of this loadout, and the term fighter is the designation for aircrafts in air-to-air combat. So basic tactics for this one is to fly back and forth around the map, performing those strafing runs, spotting enemy vehicles and tanks and then taking them out. So let's finally get started with the actual Strike Fighter loadout and take a look at the 3 perks of upgrade, gadget and weapon that we've got available in Battlefield 3. So first up for the upgrade we're going to go with the air radar. You might be thinking, well, if this loadout's for spotting ground units, why not go with that proximity scan? But your main vulnerability when flying around in a jet is enemy fighter planes trying to take you down. So this is where the air radar comes in, so you can spot enemies creeping up behind you so you can switch focus and engage into those dogfights. One tool that's going to help you stay alive as well as evade those enemy aircraft is the ECM Jammer for the gadget. This is one of the last unlocks for the jets, but it's going to be really handy for this Strike Fighter loadout. When performing those strafing runs you're going to be flying at a slow speed in a straight line towards those ground targets. So you're going to be at a major risk from enemies on the ground with launchers or in anti-air vehicles, as well as enemy helicopters who might be trying to lock on. So unlike flares that defer missiles that are actually coming your way, the ECM Jammer actually prevents that lock-on. One of the secondary benefits that's really going to help out is the ECM Jammer hides you from the enemy's radar for a couple of seconds. So this makes it a great defensive tool, so if you're being tracked by an enemy fighter you can drop your chaff and then perform a nice aerial manoeuvre to get the upper hand. Then finally for the weapons upgrade we're going to go with the rocket pods. We've got the choice of the rocket pods or the guided missile, but I'm going to be using the guided missile in a future loadout. And out of the two, the rocket pods are probably the more effective tool against ground vehicles. These rocket pods are a set of 14 unguided air-to-ground rockets, so you'll have to actually dive bomb your targets and precisely line up that HUD. You do need a fair few hits with these rockets, so you're going to have to make sure that you decrease your speed and track your target until you get that vehicle disabled. But make sure you don't go too far and end up ramming into the ground or get taken out by a pesky tree or pylon. So if you're on Xbox or PC, go ahead and have some fun in Conquest with this Strike Fighter loadout. I hope all you PS3 guys are enjoying the air superiority mode. Let us all know down in the comments if it's as good as what I'm expecting it to be. I've got plenty more air-to-air and air-to-ground loadouts planned for these jets, so stay tuned for future episodes. If you like the sound of this new series, or if you just enjoyed this first video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up down below just to help spread the word. If you just stumbled across this video and you can't wait to see those air superiority loadouts, then subscribing is going to be the best way to check them out. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.